Alright, well, my name's Hector. My topic is on the NBA. My main claim is that the Lakers will be the NBA champions this season. My three supporting claims are they have the #1 seed in the most competitive conference. 2, they have the best road record. And 3, they have the impossible threats who are in the Eastern Conference. Back to my first point, which is that they are the #1 seed in the most competitive conference. In the West, all teams who made the playoffs are over 500. This means that every team had a winning record. The Lakers, who finished off the #1 seed, have the record of 65 wins, 17 losses. Denver, San Antonio, and Portland all had the same record, tied for second, which was of 48 wins, 28 losses. Houston had 53 wins, 29 losses. Dallas, 50 wins, 32 losses. New Orleans had 49 wins, 33 losses, and Utah had 48 wins and 34 losses. Even with such a tough conference, the Lakers still managed to be 11 games ahead of Denver, San Antonio, and Portland, who had the second best record. And this clearly shows how the Lakers are the best team in the West. My second point, which is they have the best road record. The Lakers this season went 29-12 on the road. According to ESPN Sport Writers, in order to win the title, you must be able to win on the road. In the playoffs, you go through a 7-game series. 4 games are at home for the higher seed, and 3 for the lower seed. They play 2 home, then they go 2 games away. Then, if necessary, they play 1 at home, then another 1 away, and finally back home. Since the Lakers are so good on the road, they will not have to worry about going through a long series, because they will win on the road and not just depend on their home court. They have no losing record against any team in the West who are in the playoffs. During the season, they swept Houston and Dallas, had a 3-1 record against Denver and New Orleans, had a 2-1 record with San Antonio and Utah, and only had an even record with Portland, which was 2-2. So clearly, there's not much of a threat in the West. People may say that in the East, Boston and Cleveland have a chance of beating the Lakers. Boston went with a 62-20 record this year, and Cleveland, who ended up #1 seed overall in the NBA, had a 66-16 record. However, Cleveland, who is most likely to take the Eastern Conference title this year, had a record of 39 wins and 2 losses at home. One of those losses was at the end of the season where Cleveland didn't put all their starters, so that didn't really count. But the one that did count was against the Lakers. They had all their players, Cleveland, and Lakers beat them at Cleveland without Andrew Bynum, who was a key player for them. He's their center, so he averages like 10 points a game. And so that there is no match for the Lakers in the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference, and that is why the Lakers will be NBA champions this season.
All right, structurally everything's in pretty good shape. The claim is clearly labeled. The secondary claims are set up. The signposting when you get into the content is pretty solid. Your explanation of your reasoning process on the first and second points is pretty clear. I think you could use a few more examples. The kinds of things that might affect the playoffs, for instance, you stick mostly with the records and the likelihood outcomes with the matchups. That's okay. I'm not sure that those are the only things that you ought to be looking at. There are probably a few other issues that are important too, but the ones that you picked, I thought you did a good job developing support for. You've got a lot of factual data on the records. Make sure you tell us, there's not much dispute on those kinds of things, but this is, the NBA records for the year, or I'm sure you got them out of the paper, or you got them on NBA.com or some site like that. I think you could have used a few more experts assessing the chances of the Lakers against any of the teams in the East, especially since they only play a couple of games against those teams during the year in comparison to the longer series that they play against Western Conference opponents. There's very little audience contact. It gets a little dry because you're reciting so many of the facts about the team's records. So it's a good argument. It seems to be pretty sound. There are, however, reservation rebuttal issues that might be important, and I'm sure that the respondent will be looking at those. All right, thank you.